So, I requested questions, and boy did I receive. Over 250 to be exact. And I managed to whittle that number to a nice 46, 47, 45, something like that. Some odd questions that I want to answer for you guys. So let's get this show on the road because we got a lot to cover. Where are you from? Do you speak any languages other than English? I'm from Yonkers, New York, so, you know, America. And I speak a little bit of Spanish, but really I speak English. Like, I can't really speak anything else. What is your favorite type of video to make? Rants, original music, covers, commentary, Butthurt McWowimacunt, etc. Also, what video of yours are you most proud of? I mean, I really like making the rants, but I think my favorite kind is probably Butthurt McWowimacunt because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun to do. Machinima in general is really fun once you know how to do it. It's really satisfying once you get it working. As for what video I'm most proud of, at the moment, I am most proud of the Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Social Justice. I personally like that, but like, I don't normally like my own things. In fact, I basically never do, but I like that video a lot, and I'm very proud that I did it. What's your favorite band, musician, genre, and do you have any suggestions? I'm a big rock kind of guy. I like glam rock, I like punk rock, I like hard rock, I like classic rock. I'm a rock guy. So my favorite band, period, is Rise Against. I think anybody who's seen my channel knows this. I really like their music, I like their messages, I like their lyrics. I think they're all around a great band. But recently I've been really into the Struts, and if you don't know who the Struts are, check them out. It's like Queen reincarnated in the 21st century. It's so wonderful. It's 21st century glam rock, which does not exist. I don't know if you're aware of that. How do we best stop the regressive left and reclaim liberalism for the actual left liberals? Talk about it. You have to talk about it. I saw some bullshit, like, liberal talk show talk about how, like, the regressive left doesn't exist. And you know what their proof was? Just some guy saying, the regressive left doesn't exist. Nope, debunked. That's basically all they said. If you deny the problem exists, you are doomed. So the most that any of us can do is talk about it. Keep raising awareness about it, because the more people find out that this is a thing, the more likely it is for people to understand it and to take it, and the more likely they are to take it seriously. What's your favorite Rise Against album/song? Also, why are you such a disgusting misogynist? I don't have a favorite Rise Against song that switches on a day-to-day basis, but my favorite album is definitely The Sufferer and the Witness. It's just a really great melodic punk album. It's really good. Actually, I take back what I said about not having a favorite song. My favorite song is Survive, off of that very same album. Because it's got a very nobody cares if you're offended kind of vibe to it. Life for you's been less than kind, so take a number, stand in line. Like, that's a great lyric. What is your favorite guitar? Gibson Les Paul. I love Les Pauls, specifically Gibson. I got an Epiphone Les Paul right now and I love it. Oh, Les Pauls are fantastic. I love everything about them. How do I unbake a cake? I'd probably guess science is probably how you would do that. What is your favorite show? I still think I've yet to see a show as good as Breaking Bad, and I'm hoping that one day I will, but Breaking Bad is definitely at the top for me right now. Why do you own two Wiis? Okay, so you guys noticed the two Wiis. Okay, first things first, the first Wii that was on my setup was mine, but I basically played it when I got it in 2007 and never touched it again. It's been sitting on my shelf because it looks nice. Like, the cables aren't even plugged in, it's just a prop. And long story short, some family came to visit, they brought theirs, left it, and they haven't taken it back. I guess that shows you how valuable a Wii is, huh? What are your aspirations for the future? If I can make a decent living off of what I'm doing right now, that would be it. Although I would like to edit a film or like shoot a film or something like that. I'd like to make my own movie, but I need to work with people I trust to do something like that. So that's not really a goal, that's just something that, like, oh, it'd be cool to do that. What makes you want to share your mind, and is this the reason you created your YouTube account? Okay, so I didn't start my YouTube channel with the intent of doing what I'm doing now. I started my YouTube channel to comment on videos back in 2008. And then I decided to make stuff and put it up, and it was all really shitty, and then I started doing rants, and those were pretty well received, but I was still, like, really unpopular. And then Gamergate happened, and then I just got really upset. I don't know, something happened when Gamergate happened that just made me want to speak up a little bit more and actually say shit. And long story short, that's why I have this animal. Yeah, it's a good animal. Would you go on the Drunken Peasants podcast? If the Drunken Peasants want to have me on, I would be on. But I'm not a very good live guest, so we'll see how that goes. Why the name Chris Ray Gun? Okay, so there's no story behind the name. It's literally just, I thought of it one day, I thought it was a decent sounding name, so I started using it, and that was pretty much it. But do you have an explanation for why SJWs get so offended? I think most social justice warriors, and specifically most of the ones that get offended by basically everything, I think they're the kinds of people who've never really had it rough. I think they're the kinds of people who maybe the worst thing that's ever happened in their lives is maybe they didn't get something for their birthday, or maybe some other benign shit. So of course, to them, when I say, hey, what's up, faggot, to my best friend, it seems way worse than it actually is. Because I can promise you, I've been through some shit, and so have most of the people that I'm good friends with now, and none of them are as offended by anything as I've seen social justice warriors get at the most benign shit. Are you disappointed in the DLC maps for Halo 5? We only get one a month, and the rollout for other features has been slow as fuck. I can't complain because it's free. Like, I would have had to pay for a map pack by now, and at least like they're adding weapons and they're adding game modes. I think it's perfectly acceptable. I don't have a problem with it. It'd be one thing if the base gameplay was broken, like it is in Destiny, where it's just like unbalanced as fuck. But in Halo, it's like, alright, if there's a content drought, it's not a big deal, because the game, as a base game, is still very fun. Why exactly do you hate the Young Turks so much, and could you give a brief rundown of their members, and tell us which ones you despise the most? I don't actually hate the Young Turks at all. I think they are maliciously misleading a lot of people, but I don't hate them. I just don't like them. There's nobody on the Young Turks I really hate, except for Jimmy Dore. Good God, I cannot stand Jimmy Dore's soul. His very soul irritates me. He's the worst. But TYT as a whole, I don't hate them. I vehemently disagree with what they say. That's really about it. That's as deep as that goes. There's no point in hating them, because that's too much energy to pour into something I don't like. What is the mathematical formula for a dank meme? 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% dank memes. Your early stuff consists of a lot of song videos, so I was wondering what made you want to start making political videos in the first place. So here's the thing, I always made political videos when it came to video games. Even as far back as 2008, 2009, 2011, I was making political videos whenever the establishment media would talk down about video games or make unscientific assertions about them. The only thing that really increased the frequency of these videos, and now they're kind of a mainstay, was Gamergate. That was the catalyst for what you're seeing now. And this other question was asking basically the same thing. What types of hate do you get? Death threats, insults, and the like? I get everything! Oh, let's see, I've gotten death threats, rape threats, I've been sent things in the mail. Not often, mind you, this is only like twice that's happened. But I've been doxxed a couple times. I don't know, anything that comes along with being a controversial figure, I guess. Is that what I am? Am I a controversial figure on the internet? Yes, I get them all. Do you hate feminists or just the feminist bullshitters all over the internet? Here's the thing again, I don't hate feminists. I just vehemently disagree with them. And it's not the people, it's not the feminists that I hate, it's the ideology, it's the ideas that I hate. And I think people often conflate the two. Would you rather go live in Syria for a few years or live in a feminist utopia for 2 hours? I'd obviously take the feminist utopia, that's like no brainer. 2 hours? Pfft, just take a nap. Do you have a band? And if not, why not? Okay. So throughout my life I've been in several different bands and none of them worked out, not because we weren't good and not because there wasn't some serious talent there, although in some cases that was the case. We just never saw eye to eye. We never agreed on the kind of music that we wanted to make. So if I can find 2 to 3 other people who want to make the same kind of music I do, I'll happily be in that band. But until I know that's a certainty, I'm not gonna just go into any band. I've been there, done that several times, not happening anymore. If you had to pick a villain from Crash Bandicoot to be President of the United States, who would you pick? Engine, all the way. President Engine. The State of our Union is fantastic.
So, Crash Bandicoot, we meet again.
Dude, oh my god. Engine was my favorite character, dude. Crash Team Racing, I always picked Engine. He is the best. He's got a nuclear bomb in his head, man. How cool is that? Seriously, can you fucking imagine having a president with a nuclear head? What? Where do you end up on the political compass? All right, so I actually took the test. Here's the results. When I took it a few years ago, I was actually further right than I am now, which is kind of interesting. Although, bear in mind that some of the questions are like really awkwardly worded, so sometimes I was just like, fuck, I don't know, disagree, I guess. So bear in mind there is a little bit of a margin of error, but that's more or less accurate to where I fall. What is a good instrument to start learning for beginners? I would say piano or guitar, considering those two are the most versatile and they're like the easiest to kind of grip conceptually. You don't want to go into like fucking woodwinds. Like you don't want to do flutes and shit. Would you rather have a Hitler stash for a day or dress like Lady Gaga for a day? I mean, I think I could rock the Hitler stash, honestly. I mean, Chaplin did it. How much bread do you eat now? I remember you were up to 2 slices a day, but has this changed? how quickly things change. I can actually get a loaf now, thank you. Thank you very much. What is your opinion on GMOs? Here's my opinion on GMOs. Give them to me as often as possible. I don't give a goddamn about GMOs, I don't care. I don't care. It's like, Chris, that's got gluten in it. What are you doing? You're eating gluten. And it's like, yes, I'm eating gluten because I don't give a shit about GMOs or genetically modified shit or unhealthy things in my food. I'm eating pizza. If I'm eating pizza, why would I want gluten-free pizza? I know I'm eating horribly. Why would I want to have that experience be worse just so I could live longer to have more worse experiences with food? Fuck that shit. I'll happily die at 55 if I can eat whatever the fuck I don't give a damn. Any reason for your nearsightedness? I noticed your prescription is really high. Oh boy, you have no fucking idea. I don't know if this camera's good enough to see it. My prescription's super thick and it's a combination of genetics and it's genetics. Both my parents have glasses, so they really fucked me over there. Thanks a lot, guys. Who are your favorite YouTubers? I hate answering questions like this because I know I'm gonna forget people, so instead I'm going to choose one channel that I've been obsessed with as of late, and that's 2. I'll give you 2. H3H3 Productions and Grade A Under A. Those are 2 of my big ones right now. Every time I see that they've got a new video out, I drop everything that I'm doing and I watch it because it's always funny, it's always great, and in some cases, very educational. What's your favorite Green Day album? It's a tie between Insomniac and Dookie. I love both of those deeply. What are your favorite games of all time? Halo, Shadow of the Colossus, Crash Bandicoot. Those are my top 3. What's your favorite book? Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. It's fantastic. It's about aliens and the devil. Seriously, read that. It's so good. What's your weirdest thing you find attractive or interesting in people? Okay, this is profoundly depressing given the kind of work that I do here on YouTube and the kind of people I often find myself at odds with. But the things I find most attractive, and this is my type, by the way. It hurts me. So dyed hair, preferably on the shorter side, tattoos, and unconventional dress, like weird clothes. So essentially, your stereotypical social justice warrior is generally the person that I find myself most attracted to, which is depressing. And that doesn't mean like only social justice warriors dress like that. I mean, have you seen Comic Book Girl 19, for example? Perfect woman. Perfect woman. How did you come up with the genius name that is Butthurt McWowimacunt? Okay, so I shit you not, I was just laying in my bed at like 1 a.m. in the morning, trying to go to sleep, and I was just trying to come up with the worst name I could possibly come up with. And Butthurt McWowimacunt made me laugh, so I opened up my phone and I wrote it down. And I was holding on to that for about several months before I knew what to do with it, before I actually put him in a video. Before it was just a name that I found funny. A few of the other names on that list, by the way, were like Cunty Dickless and some other shit that I can't remember, but that's basically what it was. It was a spur of the moment. Chris, what is the song playing at the end of your videos? It's so groovy. Okay, so everybody's been asking me this question. I'm never gonna answer this question again. The link to the song that I use is in the description of this video. Click on that link. My God. I understand it's a groovy song. I loved it when I first heard it. But please, just listen to it and never ask me again. Question from Mr. Chris Reagan. Have you stopped harvesting crippled orphans for their vital organs yet? Well, David Rossi, I have not. By the way, insider tip for you subscribers there. I'm working on something special with Mr. David Rossi currently, so... announcement. I know you made a video about Movie Bob, but why haven't you tried to air Jim Sterling's dirty laundry yet? Okay, so the honest answer to this is I wanted to do a video on Jim Sterling for a while, but I can't bring myself to watch any of his things. Like, Movie Bob's videos were funny because they were like really cringy, but Jim Sterling it's also cringy, but it's also like uncomfortable. Like I can't. Like, I'm comfortable with cringe, but like Jim Sterling is on like a different level of like pompous cringe, and the fact that so many people take him so seriously kind of removes the cringe, so it's just this cringeless cringe. It's super weird. Like, I can't bring myself to actually look at anything he said because I can't. It's like a horror film when like a kid senses there's something wrong with like a house. I just don't want to be anywhere near that shit. When and why did you become atheistic? Okay, so here's the thing. I grew up in Yonkers and I went to Catholic school. But I didn't become an atheist. I just realized that I was. I was going to Catholic school and I was doing the church thing, but I never believed it. I had so many questions, and in my heart of hearts, I knew that this was mostly fairy tales. I knew that this was Santa Claus, this was the Tooth Fairy, this was the Easter Bunny. I knew that this was all bullshit. So I never became an atheist. I just sort of realized that I was one day, because I realized that I didn't really believe anything that was being told to me. What is more easy for you to do? A rant, a machinima, or a music segment, or a cover? Okay, so this is an impossible question to answer, but I wanted to include it just so I could give some insight. Making a rant takes a long time because if you're on camera, you gotta make sure you don't fuck up as much. You gotta memorize what you've written. You've also gotta edit the fuck out of it to make it worth posting, because if it's just you ranting, this is how I look at it anyway. If it's just me talking to the camera and not editing in anything, it feels extremely lazy, and I don't wanna put lazy content out. As for a machinima, it's all technical stuff, so it's super hard. It's puppeteering on a delay with voiceover, and sometimes you gotta reshoot scenes because you don't know exactly where you are in the time. It's really fucking confusing. It's hard shit. Music is easy. It's probably the easiest. But again, for a video like the Billy Joel video, that took forever. So it all varies, but I'd say covers are the easiest because I can usually bang those out, but those get hard sometimes. I remember I did one I did for 77 takes. Fuck that one. Do you think college in the US is still a good idea? I need to make this decision soon. Okay, so I actually streamed The Division on Twitch a couple days ago, and I talked about this exact thing. Look, I can't give you advice. I can't tell you what's best for your situation, because ultimately you have all that information. You know all the intricacies, you know all the ins and outs of your own life, you know what you want to do. I would say it depends on what you want to do. If you're going to college for something that's very artistic, I'd say maybe hold off. If anything, here's the thing, use college as a networking tool. Fuck your classes unless you really want to learn something. College is for networking, because ultimately, this is all that matters. It's who you know, not what you know. And as long as you are competent in what you know, you don't have to be an expert, you just need to be competent. If you know people, you're set. My first job I got after applying to literally dozens of jobs, and I got that job only because I knew somebody who worked there. And after I quit that job, I couldn't find another job because I couldn't find any job that I knew somebody who was already working there. And I have not had a real job since. I do like stuff on the side and stuff like that, but that's of my own volition, and again, through connections that I've made. So I wouldn't say college is a waste of time, only that it's not what you think it is. Go out there, if you're gonna go to college, network like crazy, make a ton of connections, make a ton of friends, because those are the friends that are ultimately gonna get you hooked up, and it sucks, but that's the reality of it. Why are you such a massive Halo nerd? Why not TF2? Well, I've been a Halo fan ever since Combat Evolved, because it was the first shooter that I had played on a console that felt as open as real life. And I know that sounds really weird, but hear me out. In every game I ever played before Halo, driving vehicles and shooting people on foot, like first-person shooting and vehicular combat, were two completely separate things. You would be on foot for one level, and then you would go to a loading screen, and then you would be in like a ship or a car or a tank or whatever the fuck they put you in, and then you would get to the end of that level and you would be on foot again. Halo was the first time where like I was walking around, right, and I was shooting, I was like, oh, this is really fun, the controls are actually really good, what a fucking surprise, because I hated GoldenEye. I know that's heresy, but like I just didn't like the way GoldenEye controlled, and I think in hindsight, I think most of you would feel the same. But I was like, oh man, this controls really well. And then I got into a Warthog and started driving around, and I was just blown the fuck away. That was the first time I had ever seen that. And Halo 2 gave me my first online multiplayer experience, like playing with people across the world. Like, maybe I'm old enough to remember this, but there was a time where playing online was not commonplace. Like, it was almost kind of hard to grasp. Before Halo 2, I'd played exclusively couch co-op or split-screen multiplayer. So when I finally got into a game where I was playing with people from Europe and talking to them, my mind exploded. I couldn't believe it. It was like seeing a wireless controller for the first time. You're like, how the fuck is this happening? And on top of that, Halo is actually a really well done story. It's a really surprisingly good space opera. And for the longest time, Halo was my Star Wars. And that's the thing, the Team Fortress lore isn't interesting or particularly well written. I don't even think it technically exists. What are those? Meet the whatevers? That and just Halo was more seminal for me. It introduced me to these things that nowadays are everywhere, and I'll never forget that. Not to mention the shit that you can do with custom games in Fortnite. Like you can make Pac-Man in that game. Are you fucking serious? How do you not love a game you can make Pac-Man in? It's a first-person shooter that you can play Pac-Man in. I don't know, man, I just love it. It's great. And now for the final and most important question, I would say, the answer is no. No, I do not. So that was the Q&A. This video is probably super long. Fuck me. I'll see you guys next time. Not sure what the next video is gonna be, but the next big one is going to be a Butthurt McWowimacunt. A nice special for Butthurt McWowimacunt, so I hope you guys are excited to see that. Thanks for asking your questions. We'll do this again sometime, not anytime soon, because holy shit, that was a lot of questions. I'll see you later, bye.